Awesome. Awesome.
Oh, that was quick. Are you going to switch over now? It
Yeah,
says we're live. There it goes. It's finally doing it.
you can still hear me, yeah?
Oh, yeah, you're just fine. I was just watching it try to get started, and then it came up. So we're actually live right now. But anyhow,
Hmm.
I guess I'm going to start this off because for whatever people, for whatever reason, don't know this is going on. Okay. I'm here today for New Year's Day. Yes, you see, I gave it NWO. Okay. Okay. You know, New Year's Day is NWO Day. Okay. So we're at New Year's Day, NWO Day. I mean, you know, and that should actually be a, you know, I've wrote that so many times that I did that without looking. So I'm going to change that name right now.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. That looks a little better. New Year's Day rant with HJ. Truth about women. That's where we're at. Okay, so here I am, and I see Angel's in there. Hello, Angel. I haven't seen you on here in a long time. So today's rant, I'm going to give people a little history lesson just because there's something that just astounds me on how these guys don't see it, but they don't. Okay, and it's not their fault. Everything that we've ever learned in our life from the time you was brought home has been engineered. Okay, it's been socially engineered. You've been programmed since the day you were brought home. And it's all of us. This has been going on for a long time. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple examples before HJ and I get into this. The examples are, if we go back in history, we have Darwin and we have, I'm just going to use a couple examples, and we have the Fabians, okay? Well, the Darwin was an elitist. He worked with the elite. The Fabians worked with the elite. These were the different families that worked with the elite that were think tanks that brought some of the, actually, a lot of the programs into society for social engineering, for breaking us up, for doing what they've done to us. Okay, they've done a wonderful job, by the way. So I guess my next question would be for people. So, who runs the school system? The government. Who controls the government? The elite. Who owns and runs the medical system? In the United States, it's the Rockefellers, but controlled by who? See, they're henchmen for the elite. Okay? So, once again, the medical system's the elite. Who owns the scientists that get out in mainstream media and pushes the message to the world? The elite. If a scientist says something the elite don't want, he's not allowed to report that to the masses, or he won't have his position. Who owns everything that we've ever been taught? The elite. So let's go with biology. Oh, that's right, biology, and it's been medically proven, and there's estrogen in the female's body, and there's testosterone in the man's body, and because of this estrogen in the woman's body and this testosterone in the man's body and the DNA, because see, it's been medically and scientifically proved to us. Yes, it has. By the paid off. That's right. So what do you want to add something to this? Go ahead.
Yeah, well, they're very focused on their hormones, aren't they? This idea, like if a man takes a woman's hormones, he can become a woman. Transgenderism. That's part of
Yes,
that.
and of course it is. And then they give them beta blockers, which is actually hormone blockers. And then after they do the surgery, they'll tell the transsexuals, uh, they'll notice that their sex drive went down. And they'll say, "Oh, this is what it's like to be a woman because women have a lower sex drive, and I'm a transsexual now, and because I transed over, my sex drive is lower." See, the estrogen thing was complete bullshit. So was the testosterone. Okay? These were labels and stuff that was fed to the public and the masses to steer the public to the direction they wanted them. It was a steering tool. That's really all it was. There's not as many differences as they tell you between men and women. Never has been and never will be. You know, we can run through some examples before I get into the meat, you know. And we had HJ and I were talking about, so why don't you give them a list of examples?
Examples of how men and women are similar.
Right, of what they've promoted to us.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, what Dave promoted, so do I.
Right, the
Yeah,
lie, what they've told everybody.
yeah. Well, they've told everybody that women are more compassionate, men are more, you know, ruthless, less empathy. Women are more caring, compassionate, kind, whereas men are more, you know, violent and
Right,
dangerous.
that's correct. There's some great examples. And then we have, well, women's sex drive is lower than a man. Women don't, women's pornography is a love romance book. They don't get into pornography. Okay. This is a man's thing, right? And,
Right.
right. And, so therefore, men's sex drive has always been higher than a woman's and always will be. Okay.
Yeah.
Now that's probably the biggest farce, the biggest lie that people have fallen for so long. And so
Yeah.
now, so now, what I want to do is I want to back all of this up for you and show you and put what you're clearly not seeing in your face. So what do you think, Harry?
I think you just got to look at the online sales for women's dildos, you know, to blow that one out of the water entirely. But there are
Yes,
some examples, you know,
there
that
is. I've met so many married couples in my life, and I've been around lots of women when I was married, even, and they all seem to have dildos. And if you go online and look for the selection of dildos and these manufacturers of these dildos, you really
Mhm.
think they're going to be making all these different type of vibrators and dildos uh, for a market ain't there that ain't there? Because after all, the woman's sex drive is lower, so she wouldn't want a dildo, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or even just all the anecdotal evidence, you know, from women I've met who've, you know, had 50 dicks in them by the time they're 26. I mean, you know, why would they be doing that? A woman who cheat on their boyfriends, you know, why are they cheating on their boyfriends if they don't care about sex? You know, why are they hooking up with somebody online that they haven't known for like maybe a few weeks at most, you know, and cheating on somebody they've been dating for a year,
Yes.
you know?
And in my experience, when it comes to women, has always been the same. I'm not the one that brings up sex. They are every time. They're the ones
Oh,
that bring up. They're the ones that want it. They're the ones that push it. Okay, but it makes sense because a woman can do this and nobody wants to see it because they want to believe the lie.
they let
Okay.
her off. She get away with anything.
Yes. And unfortunately they believe the lie. Well, the lie is so big people don't understand. It's a lot bigger than people want to think. There is
Yeah,
not all these differences between men and women that's been told to you. Okay?
yeah,
This has all been socially engineered. But you think biology and you think, well, it's been scientifically proven, and you don't stop to think one moment that this came from people like the Fabians.
yeah.
Just like with Darwin, natural selection, survival of the fittest. This
I
came
mean,
from elitist people. It was deliberately done.
exactly. Sometimes, you know, at nightclubs, women have come up to me and grabbed my ass, said, you know, you have a nice ass, stuff like that. You know, and I wouldn't do that to them because I'd probably go to jail or be called a creep. But you know, they do it to me. So I mean, why are they doing that if they don't care about sex?
But that's just it. See, we can go on and on. We can go, okay, the fashion industry, all these girls love showing off their body. But it's because they don't care about sex, okay? Good little girls grow up wanting to be the really good looking Barbie doll. They really do. They strive to become a cheerleader and look all sexy, okay? I knew a girl once who had a friend. She was young, but one of her friends was only like 12 years old. And at 12 years old was already talking about being a stripper.
Fuck.
Okay, I mean the list that I could just we just keep going on with this list, okay? And I know
mhm,
I bring up pornography and they say, well, you can't use pornography. Yo, yes, I can. At the same time, we got prostitution. What, did you can't use that? Oh, well, yes, I can. Why can't I use that? Oh, because women don't like being prostitutes. Really? With all the careers, the chances they got in today's society to go to college, to get a career, and everything's favored to them, marketed to them to begin with all the different careers that they could have made good money on, they're just going to choose to be a prostitute, huh?
yeah, or a porn star, huh?
Yeah, or a porn star. Because there's all these different
Yeah,
trades, well, they don't like doing this. That's a crock of shit. And people fall for it.
yeah,
Women love sex every bit as much as men do, always have, and always will.
yeah. So long as it's probably with the right guy though as well. I mean, they're probably picky and don't want to do it with people who look a certain way or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the biggest crook of it. These women are. They want to talk about guys go by looks. Well, yeah, women do too. And women are picky, 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 picky. Matter of fact, Steve Oka had done a video called Picky, Picky, Picky. And that was no lie. That's factual. That's really what's going on. And why is that going on? Well, I've told people before, all you got to do is think about this. From the time you come home from the hospital as a brand new born baby, and the TV set in your house, and as you grew up, the books and the magazines you saw on your television set that helped brainwash you, that's been a big tool. Okay? And then your school system, when you take all of this into effect, what they've done is they've designed what we're attracted to. Because you're not born with attractions. Your attractions are programmed into you. And that perception is we've chose, they took the best looking people, they pranced them in front of us, and this is what we see our whole life, and we used it based on looks. Well, what happened if we took a little child, a baby that was just born, and we put them out in the middle of absolutely nowhere, and
Hmm.
they never see any of this crap,
Hmm.
okay? We could actually have, let's just say we have like 25 families with 4 kids per family, a mixture of boys and girls. We
Right.
put them out in the middle of absolutely nowhere. They have never have contact with the TV set or the public school system or anything. And they're taught to read and write by their parents, and they're taught to work and to grow the food and survival skills that people don't have nowadays because they're going to grocery stores. These
Yeah.
kids, when they become adults, ain't gonna recognize all this bullshit you're saying. But when the hormones kick in on these girls, it ain't gonna be necessarily about looks. Yes, there's gonna be a percentage of it will be, but it's not
Hmm.
gonna be like it is now. By no means. Everything's been amplified.
Yeah, I am inclined though to believe that people like those others who look like themselves better, because it like reminds them of themselves, if you know what I'm saying. So if you see somebody
Yes.
who looks, you might be more attracted to them than somebody who doesn't look like you. I think that can be kind of natural, built
Yes.
into.
And I would agree marriage can be prostitution. What's the difference, huh? I would agree with that because you're paying a girl, and this is where it gets really disgusting. You go out there and pay a girl to give her a fun time. And so you can have a fun time, it costs you money. She can have a fun time and make money. Then she can lie to you and say she don't enjoy it.
Mm,
Some of these girls become prostitutes who get hooked up on drugs. A lot of them will. Okay? And they'll
yeah,
become prostitutes. But it's not all of them. Never's nothing's 100% across the board. There's prostitutes that ain't hooked up on drugs. They're doing it for money. It's what they chose to do because they already like sex.
yeah. It's a lot of it's like being like it's like the serpent in the ear from the biblical story. They try to give you enough rope for you to hang yourself. Like they'll tempt you with drugs, sex, all these things that you're naturally drawn into, that you're naturally inclined into. Make a career out of sex, have drugs because they're fun. Have a career out of sex because it's fun. But then these things end up destroying these people in the long term,
They
and they
do.
weren't.
They do. See, and in today's society, We go back again. Part of the NWO speech is the fact that when sports are brought in, and people misunderstand that too. Okay? It was to set the mindset that this is entertainment. But the actual thing is they wanted your perception to be, okay, competition, competitive nature. Okay? People have not always been, they have a little competitive in them, but people naturally are not pushed to be competing against each other the way we are in today's society. That's been a product of your sports. It was to set the mindset, the perception to that, and then amplify it up by moving it into the workplace and moving it in the dating arena. Okay, knowing full well it would cause anger and it would cause division.
Yeah, the sports is a good one because that's really, what do you call it? It's sort of appealing to your, your more, your more base animalistic urges. It's really, tempting you to just try and take out, your care, your compassion, and your higher sort of self, your higher emotions, and really give in to the lower tier, beast emotions within you.
It is, and so I guess the crux of the message here is for the people who want to believe that women's sex drive is lower than men and believe the testosterone and the estrogen theory that's been pushed in their face and want to scream, yeah, but it's been medically and scientifically and proven and biology is blah, blah, blah. Not understanding that all three of them have been used as tools to sell you a lie, and they sold it to you hook, line, and sinker. I have met so many women that want sex just as bad as men, even when I was married, who love the hell out of sex. They own dildos, and that's why, people ain't looking at the obvious that's in their face.
Exactly. Exactly.
Fashion industries, a lot of the fashion designs that are made for women are made by men for women. And women eat it up. They love it. They love having them sexy looking in fashion, Think about it. They love the clothes that show their bodies off. They love the
Yeah.
fact that they're placed on a pedestal and idolized for their bodies. You're going to say no, they don't, but yes, they do.
Yeah, but you know what, Bill? I think men are interested in fashion too today. Like I was saying on the other live stream about the Rolex watches and the Jordan shoes. I've seen people, wanting a specific type of shoe, complain that they didn't get the right one. Want a different heel on it, send it back, get a different heel. The
Oh,
men,
yes.
fashion.
Well, the thing is you got all these women that are buying dildos and vibrators that ain't out there doing no show, that ain't showing nothing off. What? Because they're less sexual than a man, huh? And then when they're by themselves, they're in there with the dildo masturbating. No, well, the women have a lower sex drive. They don't do that. Bullshit.
Yeah, one of the big lies is that men like sex, but women like their handbags. Whenever men can like their Rolex watches and their shoes, and women can like sex as well. It's
Yeah.
not gender specific. None of these things are. It's
No,
interesting.
they're not. I mean, I was speaking with Dave about this very thing, and Dave's been in the public transportation system for years driving a bus. Okay? Dave has witnessed
Hmm.
it over and over and over. He sees it plain and clear. And it is. When you really, the only thing, and guys tell me when they tell me that the women's sex drive is lower, the only thing they're really telling me is it confirms without a doubt that they don't have experience with being around women, married couples. Okay? It shows the TFL. It
Hmm.
allows the TFL to stand out. I don't blame them for their belief because their belief came from the
Social
system.
engineering.
That's right, social engineering the system. They don't
Yeah.
realize how far back it goes. They think, one of the things you hear all the time is you hear them say that there's no way this could have been going on for hundreds of years because no family could ever hold power for hundreds of years and make a long term plan like this and be moving in baby steps. It's just that's ridiculous. I hear this all the time. No, it's
Yeah.
not at all, because all you got to do is, once again, open your eyes. The elite's kids do not go to public schools. They don't go to Catholic schools. They go to special schools that are only for elite children.
Well,
Their
Bill,
education is not the education you're getting at all. Go ahead.
yes, Trump and Clinton have a common ancestor from 400 years ago. So that's 400 years. The Trump and Clinton line have obviously had a shared ancestor, and both their families are in power. So that would suggest that their family's been in power for the last 400 years, or had some
Yes,
form of.
yes, this is what I've been trying to tell people. And then you want to think about this. The elites send their kids to elite schools and won't let their kids hang with any other kid anywhere unless they're from the elite school. Their education is totally different than ours. And these kids are raised knowing they're going to be taking over a position and they're always going to be wealthy and they're always going to be in control. This
Mhm.
is then this is how they've carried on the agenda for hundreds of years. This stuff is by no means an accident. It's not anybody's fault. You cannot be blamed because you had no way of knowing. Knowledge
Exactly. Yeah.
is kept from you. But when it's obvious and it's in your face, and from actually living TFL, I know what they're going through, and from being married, and and being there with other couples that were married, my ex and I, and from the years and the women I've dealt with in real life, it's always been the same. And every woman I've ever talked to has always been the first one to bring up sex.
Yeah. I believe it, Bill. I
You
believe it from
know, but the women, how can you blame them when you got guys placing them on pedestals, turning their
Mhm.
back and not holding them accountable for their actions? Okay, and you have this going on, white knighting and simping for the women on a regular basis. You
Yeah.
know, it's sad, and you see this going on and on and on. Okay, but the difference between me and most men in today's society, most
Hmm.
men won't stand up to their female whatsoever. They're so
No.
scared of losing her that they will
Yeah.
do her every bacon call. And this
Yeah.
I've seen and I've witnessed, and it's pathetic. It's sad
It even
because,
goes beyond that. Like they're scared to disappoint them, even if they do break up. They try to break up on good terms. A lot of them, kiss her ass afterwards. They don't want to disappoint her.
yes, exactly, exactly. And unfortunately, it's that behavior, and I do not abuse women at all, but I stand up for myself, and that can be called abuse by a woman because how dare you stand up for yourself? Yes, I do. If they have an attitude with me, I'll have an attitude with them.
Yeah. I
Okay?
remember
And then that's no problem, man. If that's where you want to go. And I'm not afraid to say what I say. I'll say it straight out and I don't care.
one of the
Uh,
guys I used to work with, dude, he was so brainwashed that even after he had a kid with this woman, and after she cheated on him, and she cheated on him with another woman, by the way. So then they, broke up. I don't think they were married, but had a kid together. So it was a split up with a kid, and then he continued to work in the place with the two women who cheated on him, and he had no problem doing it. He was on good terms with them both.
yes, exactly. Well, I'm split up. I'm not really, I'm split up from the ex I'm with. She's still married to me, but I'm split up from her.
But yeah, I,
Okay,
I
and
wouldn't
I'm
go.
not going to bring that up on the show, why or anything else, because it's not for anybody else's no. Okay, I'm not going to bring that on a live stream. But
No, yeah,
I have people ask me in the live streams, "Oh, will you still married? You this or that?" Okay, yeah.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
don't bring up my personal life to people, but I'll tell you what I say online and what I tell you guys is exactly what I do in real life.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I'm not
this is,
fraudulent. I'm as real as it gets.
yeah, I mean, it's good. It's good to be honest, because then your audience can really trust what you say.
Well, Harry got to see how I am in real life, even though he's over there one day when I got a phone call and we
Mhm.
were chatting and looking at each other. He got to
Yeah.
hear the phone call and he got to hear the way I talked to him.
Yeah, you talked to that nurse, wasn't it, on the phone?
Yes.
So you want to talk about that a bit, or?
Well, we don't have to, but it's just that that's how he knows because he's witnessed it. And anybody that knows me for real knows that I
Yeah.
don't come up here and bullshit people.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just don't know if that's a private thing or not, but, I liked how, you called it you brought up the Nazis on the phone culture, you're talking about how the healthcare system's like the Nazi system to the nurse on the phone.
Oh yeah, I don't hesitate, man. I went right into it. I turned that nurse completely around, and she didn't have nothing to say. The lie went away.
Yeah, she's
Then the truth came out. That's what happened. I cornered her. I flipped the script on her and cornered her in the deception, and then the truth came out. And the truth was, well, we're controlled by these insurance companies. They dictate what procedures we do and what orders. And then you're
mhm.
talking about Medicare. Well, who runs Medicare? Oh, that's right, the government. And they dictate what they do. Yeah, there you go. See, it's in your face. I cornered their ass and the truth came out. And I did that right on phone.
Yeah, I love that one there because I mean, she actually admitted on the phone basically that you were right and she was lying to you.
She did. She actually did come forward with the truth after I cornered her, but it took me cornering her to do it. Okay, so if you don't educate yourself to what's going on with your own self, they can lie to you and you won't know they're lying to you. And you just go right along with the fucking fluff stuff. Okay, and I'm not even going to go there because it's not about that. But let's talk about how degrading and disgusting us human beings are, and especially the men, and how stupid we are. Uh, HJ
Mm.
brought this up about a little bottle of water. You want to tell him?
Oh yeah, a little bottle of water, yeah. Basically, yeah, the fact is that that girl on the internet selling the bath water, name escapes me, it's not important, but she's got like I believe she's got 1,000 times the followers of, you, Bill,
Well,
almost.
of course she does, because all these thirsty, hungry, brainwashed men,
Brainwashed, yes.
that's what it is. They're brainwashed because of society, because all brainwashing is changing your belief system to nonsense. And they
Exactly.
started on you when you were born.
Yeah, buying a woman's bathwater off the internet, that is not normal behavior. That is not normal
Oh,
be
by no way and means. Let's think about it. First off, it was probably never bath water. She probably just bought a bunch of jars, filled them with water, and claimed it was bath water because she's so good looking and they're all worshiping her damn vagina. Well, let's think how vile that would be. If it was real bath water, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to drink it? I mean, I'm like, oh my God, you know how sick this is.
Yeah.
She has bowel movements from down there. She urinates from down there. She bleeds from down there. She sweats from down there. She gets dirt on her body and everything else from being out there in the public and blah, blah, blah. She goes and sits in bath water and she washes her body. And now all that debris from that body, sweat, everything, is in that water. I mean, what
Yeah,
are they
it's great.
trying to get a disease? What, are you in a hurry to get a disease? You know her to get sick? Are you so desperate that you're going to idolize her so bad? Because when you do this, what you do is you swell her head, inflate her ego trip, and turn her into a fucking complete nut job. And this is what we do. You wonder why women behave the way they behave? Because we created it.
Yeah, they know they can replace you at any moment, and they're happy about it.
Yes, oh, they're very happy about it. And they can
Yeah.
get, and that's the funny thing is you get TFLers, and unfortunately they tell on themselves and don't even know they are because they believe the lie. When it comes to biology and science,
Mm,
okay? Oh, and it's been proven, medically proven, okay, that the estrogen does this and that the testosterone does this, okay?
mm.
I want to see you go prove that yourself. Back that up. Because I'll guarantee you, none of you can back it up. What you're going to back it up with is everything that the elites created. That's not
Yeah.
backing nothing up. That's taking it back to where I just told you it come from.
Well, one of them Galton Institute members of the Eugenics Society said, yeah, Julian Huxley said we have to knock humanity off its pedestal.
Yes.
And we've got to make them believe they're animals. And there are a lot of people in the manosphere, promoting this idea of competition and being like animals. It's just they're going along with the elite's agenda, and they're so stupid they don't even realize that they are.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They are. They're literally going along with the elite's agenda. Say, well, because of our DNA, okay, we all
Hmm.
have animal instinct, and that animal instinct comes on. No, 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 no. That's just what they sold you. You believed it. Sorry. I'm
Or even,
sorry that you just can't understand where I'm coming from. You have the ability to control your behavior. It's like when a certain person that was on this show at one time talked about our violence. That we all want to fight. That's our competitive nature, man. We want to fight and compete against each other.
yeah, war's natural. It's good to be in a war. We've always been in wars, apparently.
Yeah, they don't understand that the wars were started by the elite who financed both sides, and the outcome of the war was for their benefit because they gained more control, they gained more world resources for themselves to
Hmm.
control you with, and more land off every single war. The wars are
Yeah.
instigated to help cope the population, okay,
Yeah.
and to steal your resources, to
Uh-huh.
control you, to
Yeah.
enslave you. That's what these wars are about.
Yeah, Bill. I mean, actually, every time there is a war as well, it's like it's not in a first world country. Like generally, like it's always a third world country. If there's a war within that country, it brings the country down to the third world. But a good example of what you're talking about is all of the invasions in Asia done after 1930 by the West. They destroyed it all with wars. And then they rebuilt it afterwards to become the manufacturing superpower of the globe. That was order out of chaos. That's an example of that. You destroy the country and then you rebuild it how you like. That's how it will go down in the West eventually. Because I think a plan for China to be the superpower from the 1930s in the elites books, and then shortly
Yes,
afterwards, after
yes.
the war, Korea,
Yeah.
Vietnam, China, Japan, and others. That was basically the globalists seizing control of Asia to install their puppet governments. The official lie was it was about capitalism or communism, or giving the countries freedom. But I mean, the capitalism, the communism, they're two phony systems which ends, they both end in the same way. Like the last stage communism countries are identical to the late stage capitalist countries. It was about enslaving these countries to the elite and setting them up.
That's what it's always been about. People just don't see it. Okay, they're one and the same. See, this is why I brought up the Fabians, gave you a couple examples to go back and look up the Fabians and find out who the Fabians are and who they did and what they did and blah blah blah. Because when you start doing that, you're gonna realize what I'm telling you real quick. Okay, that's why it's important to want to understand who's actually in control of your medical system, your scientists, and the education system, the elite.
Mm. Yeah, TV, education, science. That's a good one, and
Yes, it
maybe
is.
the church, argue, the church as well, perhaps.
It just astounds me because the fact is so many people fell for the lie that women's pornography is their love romance books. Women don't like viewing pornography. That's something men do. Okay? These are
Mm.
man traits. Men's hormones are a lot higher than women's, and they got to spread their seed, and women's hormones are a lot lower than a man's because, blah, blah, blah. And it's all nonsense. Every last bit of it is
Yeah,
complete freaking nonsense.
it's as much nonsense as the lie, that America, and the West went into China and Korea to freedom from communism. Whenever all they did was put in a load of factories and ship out all the jobs there 20 years later.
That's
Did they ever?
exactly, that's exactly what they did. You're going to say, well, but I'm up here with a young guy who's not very old and he blah, blah, blah. Well, let me tell you something. This young man's more intelligent than you people are giving him credit for, okay? To be his age and to see what he sees and not be asleep and aware of what's going on around him and to look and study the stuff he's been doing to know what he's talking about is put him on the right road at a very young age. And he's not falling for the lies and the propaganda. So, yes, this young man that's with me on this show, I have a lot of respect for because as long as he stays on the road he's on, when he gets older, he's even going to be more knowledge than he is now. The problem is, it's just like me or Steve Hoke or other people. We're going to be targeted by these elite because they don't like people like us, like Warren and myself, and on with a list of names. You know, some people they don't mind because there's people up here pushing the agenda and don't even know they are.
Yeah, well, the sad thing is as well, for every one awake man like you or me, there's at least 1,000 fucking bathwater buying zombies, huh?
Oh, I know, isn't this fucking? It's vilely disgusting to think about all these guys that worship this girl because of her looks and her body, buying this damn bathwater from her, swallowing her head right on up.
Yeah, I mean, the elites have won. You can see that, like, we're outnumbered 1,000 to 1 at this point by these fucking brainwashed simps, is all you can call them.
That's exactly it, you know. And HJ can tell you how the younger generation, the guys his own age bracket, the majority act because he is in that age bracket. He has friends and he's been to school. So why don't you
Mhm.
tell him how the guys over there where you're at act?
Yeah, the guys over there are all caring about sex and stuff, they're getting their hole, as to say, going around basically trying to get as much of that as possible. The women as well, it's all about sex, 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 not about anything long term or pair bonding. It's all sex focused and career focused. It's everything that you would assume, and it's all about taking fun in other suffering as well. It's like everyone gets some sick satisfaction and making fun of the nerds and the losers. It's sad
Yeah.
and all that as
Well,
well.
and that's the stuff I've talked about before, but you're right. You're right because everything's been social engineered. I mean, they have divided us so bad because at one time the old world order, a one world government, not the new world
Mm.
order, okay, a one world government. They tried to get this off the ground many years back. But at that time they couldn't get it off the ground because of the fact that too many people still had consciousness. Too many people was already right there, you know what I'm saying? On
It had,
board. And they rose up. They said no. The elite realized then that they wasn't ready. So
mhm,
they continued their plan and made more plans and got their think tanks, you know. And a
mm,
lot of them are bankers like the Morgans. People don't realize this, just like the Fabian. You've got to study the history to understand the families and the people that worked with the elite from the very beginning. Okay? That's what you
yeah.
have to do. Because if you
I
don't
mean,
do that, I'm shutting this down real quick. There we go.
right. Yeah. So if you don't do that,
If you don't do that, you're going to have so much trouble understanding what's going on. That's why I told people just think of it in this way. You were brought home from the hospital, a brand newborn baby. You didn't know
mhm,
anything that was going around you. You're raised in your environment. In your environment, you have your television set, you have your school system, as you have
mhm,
everybody else that's in your environment that was born and then growing up with you at their home and they're in the same environment you are. They got their television set, they got their school system. Everything that we've seen with our own eyes in the school system is growing up at home on your TV has been socially engineered so that you
yeah,
would believe in the stuff they want you to believe in. And if you were the elite children, you wouldn't have a TV set because the elite kids don't have television sets in their houses.
no,
No, no, they
they actually
don't.
they live their own lives.
They actually have a school system for the elite, so these children are actually being taught real truth, not, not the propaganda you're being taught. They're being hiked above you. So let's think about your labels again. We sit back and let other people put themselves in positions above you. and then you followed the orders. Well, then they get an ego trip and a power trip going on in their head because they're above you. Then somebody else is above that person who also gets the ego trip and the power trip. Well, what do you think we've done to the women? With all of your damn double standards, all of your turning your back to them, and all of your denial about the stuff that's right in your face. That's why to
Hmm.
me it's a little sad when I hear guys that believe, okay, that women actually do have a lower sex drive, because the only thing it did for me was just confirm that they haven't actually been around women enough to know, or they would have seen it. Because
Hmm.
HJ here, he's young,
Yeah.
and don't you see it? Don't you see it yourself already?
Yeah, I've seen it plenty of times. It's not a gender issue, it's more a personality issue. Some people are more interested in sex than others. I mean,
Yeah,
I
nothing's
knew
across the board. You know what, HJ? In the
what?
world, if we want to look at the reality, is nothing's 100% across the board. Nothing. We have
No.
men, young men, who are not interested in sex and have low hormone drive. We have
Yeah.
women with low hormone drive as well as we do men. We have lots of men with high hormone drive, and we have lots of women with high hormone drive.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I was gonna say something there, but I kind of forgot it. But
Oh, oh shit. I know what that means. Maybe it'll come back to you. Go ahead and talk.
yeah, just before the bit about the Holman drive, what was that about? Uh, well, nah, I don't think it's gonna come back to me. I hate it when that happens.
I know I hate it. Well, I think we all have that happen to us.
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
everybody I've ever met has that happen to them sooner or later. Anybody that denies that that happens to them is just, well, what can I say? You can't believe them because you already know they're a liar. You know.
yeah. At least it's normal. Well, I'll just say something. This wasn't it, but I'm just gonna say something that just for the sake of saying it, But I mean, a lot of the young generation as well. They're very focused on how others perceive them. They're very focused on their popularity, their social status. How others view them. So I mean, to a certain extent, they're afraid of confrontation. One time I was out at a bar with a few friends or whatever, and I fell asleep, and then a bouncer come over, basically told them, to wake me up, and then I kept falling asleep, and then the bouncer was threatening to, throw them out or whatever. But I was, they got really angry at me for keep on falling asleep. But I tried to explain to them, I'm causing no harm to anybody by falling asleep. I'm not starting a fight here. I'm not destroying the place. What's the problem? Just let me sleep. They should have stood up to the bouncer and told him, no, he's not causing you no harm. Leave him alone. But no, they attacked me because they were too scared to stand up to the bouncer. Pathetic.
Yes. And it's sad because we see this stuff go on all the time. And I watched the men's behaviors, and you see what's going on, and you look back through, and when you're studying, when I connected the dots from NWO over the dating arena, it's because I saw all this stuff with my own eyes after I started learning NWO. And the more harder I looked, the more I saw, and the more the dots connected. And then when you pay attention to what's going on in society, you see it happening in front of your eyes, and it's always done in small increments. So it's not as noticeable because it's done in small increments. It is
Mm.
about setting your mindset, and nobody can be to blame because it started when you was born. Your conditioning, which I like to call it conditioning, is conditioning you as a baby, a newborn baby, to believe in certain things. And we're going to use the school system and the media and the books and magazines, and we're going to
Mhm.
use all kinds of stuff. I mean, we got so many tools in our arsenal against you while you're being brought up that by the time you're brought up, you ain't going to know any different than what you know. And then you're sitting there arguing with people and screaming and yelling and fighting, and you're doing everything they programmed you to do. You
Yeah,
got to be able to break free of that, because until you can break free of that, you'll never actually be able to. You got to go look for yourself. So that's why I said go look into what I've said. I already give a couple examples. I'm not going to go into a bunch of names for you
no,
because I've done the looking. It's your turn to do the looking.
yeah, I could give a couple of names, but I don't even know if I want to give a couple of names just because it gets the channel shut down or whatever. But
Yeah, if it comes to that country over here, we're not allowed to boycott. They might shut us down for that. So,
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't name committee of 300 members and stuff, but
and you would be
like,
accurate too, couldn't you?
yeah, I could be
And they
accurate
would
about
go
it.
look up. They'd find out you told them the truth, didn't they?
Yeah,
See,
yeah,
this I do know about HJ. He's going to come up here and tell you stuff. He's not going to be lying to you. He's going to be telling you truth, and he's going to be telling you what he's seen with his own eyes at his young age. Okay,
yeah.
and I realize that's why I told you I have a lot of respect for this young man.
I mean, that's why sometimes, pause or I'll stay quiet if I have nothing to say because everything I say is the truth. I'm not going to make something up. It's either I'm going to say something truthful or I'm not going to say nothing at all. But maybe I'm just remembering something that happened to me or whatever. That's if I pause or whatever. But
It is, it is.
yeah,
It's just the belief systems are so freaking far off the wall, and men's fucking people have lost it. But you said something at one chat, and I don't know if you can remember, about
yeah.
why we will never stand up.
Why I will never stand up.
Yeah,
Well, I just think it's a mix of the social engineering. Combined with the fact that everybody today, especially the young generation, are so paranoid about what other people think of them. They're really, really concerned with what other people think of them to point that they will self-censor themselves. Because the worst thing in the world is getting a bad reputation or getting embarrassed or getting laughed at or getting dissed, insulted. They're scared of that. They're scared of being rejected or whatever, just from social ostracization. They're scared from being socially rejected. I mean, if you're scared of that, you're not going to be able to stand up to these elites because they're a lot more terrifying than maybe a few of your peers laughing at you or mocking you for something.
there you
Uh,
go. God, that was so good said. I wanted to hear it again because that's so correct. You know, and I've witnessed this. So many people, men and women alike, are scared of what other people think of them, and they will break their butt to fit in with the others. Okay, and give no thought to it because they want their friends, they want their companionship, they want to go out and hang out, they want to. So this is what they do. But he's right. When you're that scared of what somebody thinks of you, you will never rise up or stand up against your real enemy. They got
yeah,
you right where they want you, man. You're
I mean that
literally right where they want you.
that's just for us who are awake as well. I mean, I think the larger elephant in the room is the fact is that you have 1,000 zombies for every man who is awake. Like these bathwater buyers, these like women on the Instagram have like millions of followers, millions of simp followers, and you've got millions of people watching TV every day. That if you try to explain to them any topic about New World Order or something, you try to explain to them any of this stuff, and you give them a load of evidence. You tell them where to look. You tell them, look at this event that happened. Look at these people that were involved in it. They'll just shake their heads and say, that's a stupid idea, and walk off.
Oh, they will. They will. They won't even look into it. They'll just disagree with it right away, and they'll go right back to the social engineering and say they know. Yeah, you know everything you was taught from the time you were born by the elite that's been doing this for long before you were born. Everybody in today's society, everybody worldwide, have been affected by this because this is no lie.
Yeah, I had some dumbass saying to me the other day, like, "Oh, you're a smart guy, but you have some really stupid ideas."
No,
And I was like,
actually, unfortunately, that's the funny thing. You would actually be on the right road, he would be on the wrong road. He would be the one being stupid, but he's too stupid to know he's stupid.
"Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, like, whenever the security cameras went off on that French motorway, whenever that Princess Diana accident happened, or the cameras in Epstein's, jail cell went off whenever he got murdered, or I'm sure these things were just complete coincidences."
Well, the thing is, you hear the old saying about knowledge is power.
Hmm.
And I'm not talking about knowledge is power over the top of other people because I'm not a psychopath like our elite. Okay? The more you screw yourself, the more you open your eyes and really pay attention to what's going on in society. You just got what you got to do is you got to study this stuff, kick back and not say nothing to nobody, and just watch what materialize, what comes for you in your society. When you do this, you'll start seeing that it's actually no lie. It's really
Yeah,
taking place.
yeah, you're right, Bill. The most obvious way to prove this to people is to look at events from the past, like the whole China thing, things that have already happened. If you can point to them and say, "Look, this is when China was predicted to be world superpower. This is what happened." 50 years later, is that a coincidence? Or you can point people out, stuff like the Eugenics Society and what they said. That guy whose books Russell, uh, Bertrand Russell is it? I'm not sure. You can read these guys' books written 100 years ago, and you can see what's happened. I mean, it's undeniable.
It is. And that's
Yeah.
like, okay, you got people who's got the books that were wrote by the elite. Well, the elite's going to tell you what they want you to know only. They wouldn't have put anything in that book that they don't want you to know already.
Hmm. Enough. Yeah. I mean, the Committee of 300 now have like economic books about moving the economy to Asia. Some guy on that, I think it's called Stephen S. Roach or something's wrote a lot of books. He's on the Committee of 300. He's wrote a lot of books about sending the economy to Asia.
Well,
Um,
that's just it. You got a bunch of different families that worked with the elites and's been working with the elites. And these same families, like the elites, okay, pass everything down to their children, and all their children go to these elite schools. And a lot of these different families that are working with the elite are the think tanks for the elite. And they help the elite to come up with ideas and programs to put into society. And when it's pushed on a massive scale, it's going to be filled full of BS because it
yeah,
is to change your perception to what they want it to be.
exactly. Like 1984 is a good example of a book that sort of predicted the future. What a lot of people have heard of an Animal Farm.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, that was no coincidence. That guy who wrote that had some insider knowledge for sure.
Yeah, that's correct. That's why I get frustrated with the dating scene because so many of these guys are so unaware of where the problem come from and they
Hmm.
don't want to actually look into it. And this is why I get frustrated with people like Monday. You can bet your ass he's an employee of the establishment by the message that he sells to you. People don't understand that YouTube has been taken over not by Google. Google's just an employee of the establishment. Okay? They're following the orders of elites. YouTube is filled full of Hollywood. There's no lie about that. That can be proven in seconds. You have whole seasons of sitcoms and whole seasons. Okay, you got tons and tons of ABC and CBS Monday night movies that played years ago. You got entire seasons plus these movies that nobody had. Okay, are all up on YouTube. That's because Hollywood archives all this stuff in Hollywood is here on YouTube. YouTube is your new television set for the internet. Okay, so you have CIA, military, and media industrial complex. Yeah, military. You have CIA. You have total elite involvement on YouTube. You have plants everywhere. Monday's message is fraudulent. The guy's an employee of the establishment. You cannot keep telling the guys it's their own fault. Oh, it was because of their upbringing, and they just, and when you're ugly, oh well, and they sold our attractions on us through the modeling and fashion industry and placing a woman up on a pedestal, and everybody saw it their whole life, so it's normal to you. Sex should have never been at the front of the list, never. Short-term relationships are for people who don't know what the fuck they're doing. Because in reality, it's about getting to know somebody. This is what a date's about. Seeing if you can get to know somebody and become friends with them and if you have things compatible. If you don't, you move on to your next date because you don't date more than one woman at a time. This is how it's actually supposed to be. You may date 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, but that's because you have a lot in common and you go hang out together on your date and you do things. It's not about getting your dick in a hole. is about becoming friends to best friends, which will lead to real love that I've experienced. Real love is just as real as everything.
Exactly. It's like in 1984 to say freedom is slavery. Well, in 2020 to say sex is lust, or sorry, to say sex and lust is love.
When it's not. A lot of people fall for it. They actually believe that sex and love is the same thing and that love don't exist. They don't understand how powerful real love really is. They don't understand that connection and real love, it will make you strong and make her strong. Why do you think the elite want the family units and men and women separate? They don't want people being strong and recognizing right from wrong. They
No,
want you believing in the bullshit.
yeah, they're staunchly against pair bonding, the elites anyway. That's why they promote all this promiscuous sex and fucking around, because they don't want any real connection to be made between the genders. They just want them to be using each other like dildos and, sex toys.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what, that's some of the stuff I tried to tell people, All you got to do is look around you. You got the fashion industry, you got all the lingerie. Women absolutely love it. They eat it up, okay? Created by men, okay? You got dildos, and I don't know, unless the guy's gay, okay, he's not going to be buying a dildo, okay? The dildos and vibrators were marketed to women. They're still here, and they're here by the thousands, and they sell them, or they wouldn't still be here. Oh, that's because the women's sex drive is lower than ours, right?
Yeah, right.
I know. It's such a joke. The
Yeah,
difference really is women's. There is all, and that's why I say the majority of the differences between men and women that's been pushed in society are lies. They're not truth at all. If
yeah.
you get to start dating and do it properly, it's long term. It's called building. It's called building a relationship. You have to build a relationship to find real love. And this takes time. This does not happen overnight.
Right, Bill. I mean, definitely, like, as I say, I've had stories about women cheating on their boyfriends and all this. It's, they're very much into sex just as much as we are, really.
Okay, you got one in here that says, I agree, Bill, but why should men have to run game and play all the games? See, that's to destroy. You need to understand that's elite agenda. They taught you game. They brought it from the arena. They brought it from sports. See, they amplified what your entertainment was from the day they brought the first arena into society for football or hockey or whatever it was, basketball. These arenas were sold to you like a TV set as in a form of entertainment. And actually, it was a form of conditioning your mindset to be competitive. And then we slowly amplified that up to it went into the workplace and it went into the dating arena. And so here the guy says, okay, why should men have to run game and play all these games? They shouldn't be running no game. They shouldn't be playing no games. They should stop doing that immediately. That is what's helping to keep us divided.
Yeah, and I don't even know if game works. I mean, is that not pickup artist? I mean, we all know.
We know it don't work. All it does is a tool to keep us divided so that we lose track of how to communicate with one another. Breaking
Yeah,
down the communication between men and women,
I mean, yeah.
causing
When,
friction.
when have you needed a special skill to talk to another human being?
Yes. And you got, the sex drive thing comes from the fact that everything that's been put in front of you your whole life. That conditions your sex drive, whether you believe it or not, because your hormones for your sex drive do not develop. But as you start to get older, you don't have them at 1 years old, 2 years old, 3 years old. No. When you get puberty and your hormones stick kicking in, everything you saw up until that time is what you're going to go by. It's all been conditioned. So when these women are picky, 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 well, there's lots of factors involved here. All the same factors that we've all had put in our face. The only difference is they've sold this lie to people about biology and the scientists and medically proved, not understanding that all these establishments are controlled by the elite. These were brought to us on purpose to cause the behavior that we're witnessing. And they knew it would. And it did.
Yeah, the brainwashed and pulled the real number on us all. Now we're buying bathwater and shit.
Yeah, exactly. And people are just swimming in it. And, it's sad because we got so many lies that's gone on for so long in everything
Yeah.
just to program us to their want.
The country's going nowhere but down, man, Nobody stood up when the jobs were moved to China. Nobody stood up whenever the borders of the country were removed and illegal immigration was the new norm. Nobody stood up to any of this shit.
No, they never do. That's just it. You're right. Nobody stands up to it. They're all too busy fighting one another. Like right now, the war is still going on. We still have the same war going on that Barack Obama told you he would end. And it's done nothing but escalate. The difference is we're not putting it in the media now. Now you have to go look it up to find out anything about it. Then you got to be careful what you're finding out about it because they're writing lies because they don't want you to know what's really going on. What's really going on is they're replacing governments and stealing all the resources from oil to water, everything that you need to live as a human. They're taking ownership of all of it worldwide, right under your nose. You say, why do they do that? That's greed. That's the psychopathic behavior, it's greed and power. Because once they own all the resources, they have the ultimate power because the people can't live without it. Now they can use it to control you. And then you do as they say because blah, blah, blah. When what should have been happening is people should have became mad as hell. And they should have stood together for the same cause for everybody. You don't got to go to war and you ain't got to pull guns out. You just got to stand down. When everybody in society, police, military, everybody stands down at one time and refuses to listen, their power's gone. Then you take these people and you get rid of them. Take your damn world back and start growing morals. How about a better new year by taking your country and your worlds back? All these
Yeah.
countries taking their lands back from these criminals. You can
Mm.
create your own monetary system. You can do all this if you'd work together. Everybody could, but nobody wants to. It's what Harry said. You're all stuck in your ego trips, okay? You're all
Oh, yes.
stuck on propaganda. You're all trying to compete against one another to make yourself look better to somebody else. The majority of people are here for all the wrong reasons, and they sure to hell ain't awake to nothing that's going on.
Yeah, I mean, they're either asleep or they're just too, as I say, they're too emotionally destroyed and, weak to stand up for themselves, They're just
Yes. Well,
they're
and
too
it's
mentally
sad because
destroyed.
we had that caller. I think his name was Richard last Saturday TFL show, and I
Oh, yeah,
feel for
that
the
cult.
guy. That guy's in bad shape.
Yeah. Well,
You know what?
yeah,
And people don't care about guys like him. That's why he was so irate when he comes in the show because he hasn't had any real care from anybody because he's in a world where the only care people have are for their own selfish self. The cremation of care was one of the worst things that could have ever happened to this society, but that's one of the steps they had to accomplish to bring this society down. The United States is falling and falling on its face, and there's no turning it around unless people get care back.
yeah, just like the other caller in the show thinks, well, maybe the United States isn't going to fall. This is just capitalism. The elites have lost control to the elites have lost control to the people buying the girls' bathwater.
And
They
natural
still have
selection is
control.
okay. Here you go. This is why he's not in here no more. He's telling you natural selection is real. Yeah, it's real programming. Yeah, they programmed that in your head for real. It don't make it truth. They program bullshit into your head. And you're believing in the bullshit, which is going along with what they want you to do.
He's basically doing what Julian Huxley said, and he's basically kicked humanity off the pedestal and lowered them to the status of an animal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean natural selection is real in these gorillas or whatever, so it must be real in the humans too. Because you're an ape, Bill.
Oh yeah, I know. See, they have no thinking skills. Okay? Their thinking skills are very limited. It goes right back to the propaganda they were taught their whole life. And what's even more sick is when he wants to talk about, well, I've seen the elite and I've blah 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 with David Icke and I've done with Alan Watts and blah 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 and got nothing from it because you didn't believe any of it and you laughed at it. You wouldn't sit
Yeah,
back and open your eyes and look to observe what was really going on around you. It didn't fit what everybody around you said. So because it don't fit in and you're worried about what somebody else thinks of you, I'm going to go ahead and go with the lie. And that's
truth's just
exactly what
truth's
he's
bad.
doing. Now I agree with Wolf Martin. He's a clown. That's right. He could put on a bozo suit.
The truth hurts some people's feelings too much. They can't wake up to it. It hurts them. You know,
Unfortunately,
that's
yes.
that's another problem. That's another problem we face. They're like ostriches sticking their head in the sand. They never want to wake up and look outside because it hurts their feelings. And that's the worst thing you can do to somebody in this day and age is hurt their feelings.
Well, yeah, and you see, it's people like this that are sound asleep to what's really happened to them. They keep
Mm.
pushing all of this propaganda. And by doing
Yeah,
so, they keep the division going. They're doing what the elite want. This is why he said that nobody will ever stop this. This is why you're going to watch America fall. This is why you're going to be a further slave than you ever thought, lose everything you have. It's because of that type of behavior right there. He's too big of a coward to stand up. He's more worried about what other people think of him.
yeah, and a lot of this is about to train you how to think as well. Just moving on, but slightly, whenever you're watching all these shows on the TV, they'll tell you how to think and feel on a certain issue like immigration or feminism or whatever. And if you're not fully behind feminism, they're going to train people to hate you for just stating that opinion and attack you
Yes, exactly.
from watching the shows. I mean, the social engineering is really incredible because people are lied to day after day, every single day of their lives, multiple times a day. And this keeps going on for a period of 20 years, especially if, the woman not wanting the sex thing. That's pushed on the TV a lot that only the men want the sex and the women are more, more human, really, more compassionate and caring. That's pushed on the TV. Everybody begins to believe that, and it's complete
Yes,
nonsense.
they begin to believe it. You put a lie in their face over and over and over, and then they turn that lie into truth because they believe it. And this is what the elite want. And it's never truth. You cannot take a lie and make it become truth. A lie is still a lie.
Yeah. Hey, Bill,
Yes,
if natural selection was real, right?
right.
Why wouldn't people just, drown their children if they were born with any defects or kill off their, parents whenever they got older and weren't useful anymore, you
Well,
know?
the elite already want that. And that's medical establishments working on that right now. If they lead, when they
Uh,
get their final want and they get it in place, once you hit a certain age, you'll be killed.
I just want SBO to answer that question because he's talking about natural selection. I want to know why people over a certain age aren't killed because they're too old to be useful to society. Why do we not kill people at 65? Because they're not working anymore. They're useless.
And why
Just
didn't you
kill them.
kill that boy that they called the Elephant Man? Because that was real. He was definitely undesirable. So why didn't you kill him?
Mm.
See, he's not understanding that natural selection was brought to him from the same place that biology was brought from, by the same families. And it was to destroy the genders. It was to divide and conquer. It was complete lies. They knew that we would fight amongst each other with it. And it was a tool to be used to cause us to fight with one another. We plant the belief in your head, you believe it with everything you got, and you fight against the real truth. The elite laugh at you because you are a clown. But you're doing exactly what they want. You will never be strong enough to rise up against your real enemy. And they know
You know,
that. That's why they're doing what they're doing to you, so that you never rise up against them.
and notice there will be a time whenever a war, is started in our first world nations to drag us down to the third world, and that will be a brutal war.
Well, they're
Many will
going
die.
to. The United States is already headed to a third world nation right under their nose. The people in the United States, the majority of them are so fucking asleep, they're zombies. The zombie apocalypse is real,
Yeah,
okay? It's just
yeah.
not dead bodies out of the grave, okay? The zombie apocalypse is as real as SPO, okay? You're talking about zombies. You're talking
Mm,
about people that don't look into nothing and refuse to believe the truth because it hurts their feelers.
yes, quite so.
So because it hurts their feelers to recognize they've been lied to their whole life and recognize the real truth, even if they took the time to look and see it going on, they would still deny it.
Oh yeah, because that's what they've been trained to do, right? From the
Yes,
TVs and stuff. On
exactly.
yeah, some subconscious level, they've been trained to laugh and dismiss that as a conspiracy theory because that's what these conspiracy theorists. They're not cool. They're not cool. They're always wrong in the movies. So that's what I'm going to think because I was told that.
Yeah,
You know, that's where it comes from.
it
You know,
does.
you have these conspiracy theorist characters in the movies, and they're always these really uncool type of characters. That are basically made fun of. They laugh at them and they loathe them.
Yep,
And
and I like that when you look at what Espill's saying because the guy's just telling you everything that the elites programmed him to. You see
because
all the programming coming out of his mouth.
I'll look for myself here, I guess.
He went right back to NBA player, has no problem getting women. So he's right back to sports again.
Maybe, but do they not get divorced? I'm sure a lot of them guys get divorced and shit.
Yeah,
So
he's going around the topic. Do you see that? He's trying to steer it off direction.
yeah, a lot of them players. I mean, they're getting divorced, raped, and stuff. And OJ Simpson, sure, his wife cheated on him with that other guy, so he
Well,
killed her.
why
Yeah,
is Espiel still here? Because I haven't banned him from my channel. I don't mind him making a fool out of himself. Because for the people who are awake, they get to witness somebody who's not awake, who claims to be awake, and tries to use, he knows because he looked into, but everything that comes out of his mouth is exactly what the elite want to happen, which only makes him a clown all the way. That's all it does for him. It makes him a complete clown. He should just wear a clown suit on his live stream so everybody knows he's clowning around.
yeah. Because I mean, if you want a prostitute, you can just pay for it up front. She'll leave you after a while. If you want something long term, which is what TFL's about, then that's not the way to go. You're just going to get gold diggers, and you're not going to keep them long term. It's going to break up.
No, because the
Yeah,
relationship's
I
supposed to
agree.
be like I said, if you got people wanted to really be there, they have to get off the programming. You have to get off the looks kit and the kick, and then I'm above somebody else. A woman and a man both have to be able to meet each other on a date and continue to date without sex, without sex, without sex. Oh God, I just threw them right under the bus, didn't I, when I said that? That's because it's about getting to know somebody and becoming friends, best friends. If you fall in love and you get together, you're going to be having sex. Sex should never be open and up front the way it is.
Yeah, you're going against the meaning of life according to the New World Order from the rock and roll agenda. Sex, drugs, rock and roll. That's all that matters.
Exactly. That's all that matters. Let us help destroy you.
Oh, and money too.
It's just,
That's
it's
a big
just,
one.
it's just absolutely ridiculous. Okay. And
Yeah. The money isn't even backed by anything, like you say. It's not backed by gold anymore. It's all based on debt.
that's right.
And
So when they're talking about deflating the value of the money, well,
mhm.
money has no value but what man placed on it. And if it was backed by gold and this much currency equaled this much gold, when you remove the gold from it, it was backed by nothing, so it cannot be deflated.
No, it's backed by nothing. It's just backed on basically interest loans. People saying that you owe them this and they owe you that. And the United States debt's like 100 I think it's like a few hundred billion at least. It could be
Oh
higher than
yeah,
that.
I
You have
think it's trillion, But
brilliant. Yeah,
yeah,
they're paying it off. The only way they're going to pay that off, that's called the blood debt, right? The blood debt, and that means they're going to pay it off with your blood. They're going to kill a lot of people to pay that off. That's what the
yeah,
blood debt's.
and a man-made thing on top of it, because all of this is man-made. So for
Yeah,
materialistic items that you can't take with you when you pass away, we're all fighting each other, killing each other, and saying it's normal behavior when there's nothing normal about it.
they give you a lot of debt before you were born. They say it's your fault. They give it all to you. You have to pay it back, even though you were really given no chance to pay it back. And then the only way that you can pay it back is with your life.
It is. I guess my goal for the new year said, man, if you're a student, and come together. But I told people in 2019 when my goal was to try to bring more men together in the
Oh yeah,
manosphere. Okay, but I said I probably wouldn't happen.
no,
Okay, and it's proven to be just that. It didn't happen. Okay.
exactly. Yeah, the manosphere is that pathetic, and the manosphere are more awake than the normies. I would say some of them. I mean, that's not hard to do because the normies are so asleep. But if you can't even unite the manosphere, you're not going to be able to unite society. It's a lost cause. It's going down. It's fuck.
Oh, it's going down because the normies ain't brave enough to stand up to bring it down. When did you hear somebody talking about what can we do to stop these criminals? When did you hear somebody start pushing ideas about ways that we could get together to stop them? Oh, that's right. Nobody ever talks about that.
No, no, they just want to tell you how to compete with the other slaves, how to get the best job out of the other slaves. That's the thing. Well,
That's
if a
right.
job's,
They're just going to send you right back into the fluff and stuff system that entraps you and keeps you enslaved to them. And you
yeah,
can't stand up because you're too coward to stand up, and you don't realize you're too coward to stand up, and that's what's going on. But you can't even think about the manosphere. So many men worldwide are living the exact same lives, and they don't even know each other. And it's happening to them and happening to them. And you try to get all these men in the manosphere because the common denominator is the same. You try to get them to realize the truth and stand together. And it's like trying to pull a freaking find a needle in the world's biggest haystack because they just don't comprehend. No
mm,
comprehend, no comprehend.
no comprehendo.
Yeah, and it's
I mean,
sad because there's good people out here. I mean, Hell by the Dashboard Light has the potential to be a great speaker. He really does. He does have that potential. I've witnessed it and seen it. But
yeah,
unfortunately, his emotions get in the way, his
I don't
anger
know.
gets in the way, and the programming. So it's a combination of the three.
Making videos and not uploading them, not even like a BitChute account or something.
Yeah,
You don't have to upload them to YouTube, dude. You can upload them somewhere else, like BitChute. But you're not going to do that because I don't know why. But
I left
that's
a
up to you.
I left a comment under Blue Sky Media's new video we made today. You
Hmm.
know, because he's complaining about people not helping him, no support. Okay, and I
But
don't want to hear that from him because he was given a chance and he even sent me an email to find
exactly.
out what people really are supporting him. He was given that chance and he blew it off.
Yeah. Oh, you don't count as a person, I guess. Maybe it's
So
only a woman.
if he wants to blow it off, then he don't really own the right to complain because you can't
No,
help somebody who's ignorant and stupid enough to blow off the ones that are trying to help him.
exactly. Fucking ignorant and stupid is right.
And I hate to say that about him, but that's just right out ignorant and stupid. If he ever fucking slams his head into something and wakes up, he'll realize that I was never trying to hurt him. I was trying to get him to look a little further into things to realize where his problem come from, and that he's not alone.
Yeah. He's not a loser. This is becoming more and more normal now. It's the new normal.
Exactly. And none of you people are losers.
No.
It's that you're not educated to what's really going on because you're educated to all the fluff and stuff.
Yeah, I think the most common factor amongst the guys in your channel is that they were born a man. That was their biggest problem. If they were born a woman, they might be doing better in the dating scene.
Well, he said, why do I even bother with Blue Skies Media? Well, because he's a young man that's unawake. He's living TFL and he's too stuck on his own damn ego to realize when people are actually really seriously trying to fucking support him and he blows them people off and then comes back and makes a video about how nobody supports him. And it's like, really? I guess if he hadn't sent me his email and said he would come live and then not do it, it wouldn't be as bad. But since he, just deliberately lied,
Hmm.
and stood us up and blew us off after he deliberately lied,
Yeah.
okay? So how do you trust anything that's coming out of his mouth? Because if you're going to deliberately lie, then how could you be trusted?
It looks a bit like a weasel. I don't trust him.
And then we have this guy in here that's running around calling himself Pump and Dump, who's instigating the drama with other guys. Yes, he is, because I've seen your comments over under SBO's channel, along with Wild Bill. So you should join his rankings, okay? Oh, sorry, you've been blocked from my channel, banned. Yep, you sure have. That's because he's over there instigating the drama. He's getting his entertainment out of this. So now
Yeah,
I've banned him from my channel. So he can go get his entertainment somewhere else.
and pump and dump. What a fucking name, right?
Oh yeah, that's right there says it all. He's a lowlife.
Yeah,
He don't know anything. He's part of the problem.
he's part of the problem. He's going around, fucking. If he's a dude, he's fucking random woman, and breaking up with them, breaking their hearts, and it's gonna fuck with their emotions, and put them off dating, man. He's part of the
Yes,
fucking TL creators if he's doing what he's saying.
he is. That's exactly. I mean, you actually showed me it before I seen it. We was on SBO's channel under that video and we seen what was being said. You don't
Yeah.
get banned from my channel unless you deserve to be banned. I didn't ban SBO from my channel because he wouldn't be here.
It's SBO. Did you say he's banned now? Is he from the channel or is he
No,
still,
I banned Pump and Dump.
but not SBO?
No, I haven't banned SBO yet. I removed him from a live stream. I have
Hmm.
not banned him. That's why he's been in here typing.
Right. I mean,
And people say, why didn't you ban him? Because I don't mind him putting out his BS for people who are awake. Because they clearly get to see the examples of what I'm talking about because he is a great example of somebody who's clearly not awake. Okay, but opening their mouth and going right along with the agenda and claiming that's being awake. Okay, if going along with your own demise is awake, I'm sure glad I'm asleep.
yeah, but I was reading SBO's comments. Apparently, he thinks the elites don't have control. He honestly believes that the 1,000 people, for every one man awake, the 1,000 bathwater buyers are going to are a threat to the elite or something. He doesn't think the elites have control anymore.
Yeah, I that I know that's such a joke.
Because I mean, the elites are able to control the guys who went off to die in the world wars, but they won't be able to control these men who are buying bathwater from this woman and worshiping them.
No, they don't have to because they already know that dumb their brain's already gone.
I mean, I just have to stress that you have to think about that, in detail, just to realize, for every like one guy who's awake, we've got 1,000 fucking asleep zombies wanting to buy a girl's bathwater, completely brain dead, completely just
Oh yeah, that's the zombie apocalypse right in your face.
yeah. There's no winning. Like this is nowhere to go but down. I mean, if these guys are zombies, they're going to believe whatever mind control the media tells them. If they've been convinced by the media to buy a woman's bathwater and that's a good idea, then you can convince them that snow is black. Snow is black. You can convince them of
Oh
anything.
yeah, exactly. The snow is
Or
black, the sky is naturally red, the
or, or I don't know, like
grass is
competition is a
purple.
good thing. I don't know. Having war is a good thing. Mass death's a
Oh
good thing.
yes, mass death is a good thing. Always having wars and telling your children they need to grow up when you never grew up yourself is pathetic. Well, I did. And I said, well, then what do you have the military for? Well, to protect ourselves. And I says, protect yourself from what? This is just it. Protect yourself from your failure to grow up,
Hmm.
because that's really what military's doing. They're protecting people from their failure to grow the fuck up.
Right? Yeah. It didn't used to. I mean, it didn't used to be that bad. Like, I don't think in.
Military is nothing but useful idiots. They're pawns. They're
Yeah,
pawns being used for psychopaths, okay? That's all they are.
I definitely think. I think your country, in a way, a long time ago, didn't have a bigger military. It had a very small military, right? The United States. It wasn't very. The military had very little power whenever it was set up. I'm not sure though.
Well, the military, unfortunately, is because people always want to. You got people, corrupt people, you're always going to have that want to take from others, okay?
Yeah.
And they actually are able to form groups of people just like their own selves that want to take from others, okay? And don't care what they do to others because it's about their own selfish selves, okay? They don't have any care or empathy for anybody else. And so they use military and they lie to the people. Your military is supposed to be defending you, foreign and domestic. But they're too busy being overseas that you couldn't be defended domestic. And don't worry, their military will come over here to please you like our military's pleasing them. And their military is going to remember how your military in your country was killing their women and children. And they're
Mm,
not going to be happy with you when they come over here already because you came into their land, blew up their buildings, stole their resources because you were so complicit.
exactly. Like China, Vietnam, and Korea, these countries are going to get like the revenge on the West and in a sense they already have because all the manufacturing's been moved there. So now they basically control all of our product supply. We have a service-based economy, Bill, right? And what that
Yes.
means is a lot of what we're doing isn't actually producing anything. We're just making other people's lives more comfortable,
Oh,
right?
that's and it is. And we're just making other people's lives comfortable. And they don't
But
realize the whole agenda's in their face. All you got to do is read the Georgia Guidestones and pay attention to the population and the reduction part and pay attention to never be allowed to rise above again. And then use your brains. How would these people ever make it so the population don't go above a certain number? Okay?
mhm.
It's all in your face, man. The core of
Yeah,
NWO is the dating arena. Why do you think so many men are going through this?
yeah, right. And just to get back to the service economy, we're just making people's lives more easier. That doesn't benefit the elite. The elite have worked out that if they have a lot less people alive, then they won't need these service economy-based jobs. So a lot of these jobs are going out now because they're useless, and we're slowly getting rid of them because we don't think people will rise up against their governments and fight them. So the jobs are going to get increasingly scarce. The competition is going to be ramped up, and it's going to create more poverty,
It is. It
less food
is.
conditions for children
And the
to be.
medical industry isn't here for your health. They're here for profit and they're here to commit genocides. Doctors doing things that might as well be collecting blood money. And I've
Mm,
witnessed, seen it, and I'm in the middle of a fight right now. I'm not even going to bring up unless I'm forced to. If they go where they should not go, I will be doing a video and maybe a live stream even and exposing their dumbasses. If they don't want to be exposed, they need to
mhm.
stop with their lies and their games. Because I've already cornered the nurse and called her out on her lies, and she owned up to what I said was correct and then told the truth after she got cornered.
Yeah, the sad thing is, like, a lot of it is based on it could be out of their power. A lot of it's like the elite's power. It's the elite system, and the elites have it on the computers and the computer record, and they'll probably threaten. I don't know. They'll threaten these people if they don't behave according to what they've basically electronically recorded of your. visits or whatever, if you don't go along with their compliance, it's all very well monitored. Probably your health,
It
what they're
is.
doing.
It is. It's really monitored really well. I mean, they know how to keep you alive for slow kill. The drugs that we take aren't good for us. A lot of the medications have side effects, and some side effects of the medications, like the blood pressure pill I'm on, is the same one my mother was on, the same one my brother was on. When my mother got diabetes, she found out the doctor told her it was from the blood pressure pill. Literally,
Right.
the doctor told her the blood pressure pill she's taken is known for causing diabetes. It's one of the side effects.
Wow.
Okay? Now,
Uh-huh.
my brother ends up on that same medication my mom was, and he
Hmm.
wound up after a few years of being on it with diabetes. I'm on the same medication since my heart attack, and I had now have diabetes.
Wow.
Okay, so there it is, right in your face.
Yeah, they're trying to kill you.
It is. It's a slow kill process. It's deliberately done. It's like they know the cure for cancer. They know what causes cancer. They always have. And they lie to you and still collect donations to find a cure for what they already have.
Mm.
And y'all mindlessly fall for it. They're using it for population reduction and they line their pockets while they're doing it.
Yeah, that's another form of blood money, isn't it? Killing you and profiting from it.
It's just absolutely ridiculous how all this stuff can happen right in your face. That's like the
Well,
that's like the drive with the woman's her sexual drive. It's all in
yeah,
people's face. It's right literally in your face. Her sexual drive is every bit as strong as a man's.
but here, Bill, I don't think that's the most ridiculous thing. I think the most ridiculous thing is that you got thousands of guys wanting to buy the girl's bathwater.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh, the other one that was really super ridiculous was when all them guys showed up for that one girl on the Tender
Oh yeah,
experiment up in New York, and then all these guys were actually competing against each other. After
I
this
know.
woman did this to them, they're competing for their chance to stick their penis in a hole. It's fucking ridiculous.
They should have walked away. I would have fucking walked
That's what
away.
all of them should have done. They should have walked away immediately and left her standing there by herself.
I thought I thought that would be what everybody would do, but obviously there are a lot of idiots out there.
Oh yeah, man, our world's just filled full of idiots.
Yeah, but somehow these guys are going to rise up and defeat the elite. I mean, if you give us, if you and me had a lot of money and a lot of fucking power and connections, could hire people, we could probably do a real good mind fuck on these guys too. They're that stupid.
Yeah, it's not hard to fool
Hard.
people because people have been conditioned their whole lives. And the problem is they have children that are brought into the same world and are conditioned just like they are. And they grow up believing in hook, line, and sinker all the lies.
Yeah.
And they're going to wonder why the country fell on its face and why millions of people die again. There's a reason that this shit happens every freaking 70 to 100 years. It repeats itself because the elites are doing it over and over until they have the whole world under their control.
Like that economy that just randomly crashes every once in a while. Nobody can quite tell why.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays that the money's backed by nothing. It's even more hard to tell why. It's
Oh,
the
I
easiest way to
know.
crash they
I
want.
know. Monetary system, money, the root of all evil. It does. People sell out. You
Mhm.
offer them a good lifestyle and enough money, they'll sell out. And so many people have. Why do you think they control what they control? That's why I said you got to really think deep to understand that it goes back to families and looking up families that worked with the elite because these are the think tanks and to
Yeah.
understand programs that was put in. And when you understand this, you realize there's a reason they brought you biology and Darwin was to
Mhm.
screw your mindset, to give you a lie, perception filled full of bullshit.
Right. That's a good point, Bill. You have to bring up the things that the elites have planned in the past that have come to fruition because there's so many things, and then you can show people all this, and then you can say, Well, since this happened, I mean, we have this like reviewing the real ID. You foretold the real ID, and I'm trying to keep everybody in the same place eventually. Keep
I
lock you down.
spoke about the Real ID several years back where they were trying to get it through and they couldn't get it through. It kept getting denied. And I was glad to see it getting denied because there was people fighting against it. Okay? But they're persistent and they pushed and pushed. Now it's through. Now I have the Real ID in my pocket for real. I have them saying the exact quotes I said several years ago before it ever come out. I said the same quote, and here this gal was repeating it to me. It's better to give up some of our liberties for security. She was that brain dead, and it just sickened me. They don't
Mhm.
realize the end goal of the Real ID Act is to lock everybody down.
Yeah, you won't be able to leave the city or town you're born in.
You're going and you've allowed it to come in now. Now, within 10 to 20 years from now, they will have used it to lock every single state in the United States down, and people probably won't even be allowed to travel outside their state or their city without permission from your owner.
Yeah, all in the name of the carbon emissions, the carbon emission reduction plan. The
Oh
global warming.
yeah, the global fraud. Yes,
Yes, they're
that's what
trying to
that
ban
would be. The global
vehicles.
warming really is the global fraud, the fake, the lie.
Yeah, so like they're planning to like ban private vehicles in York City, England, York City. They're talking about doing that for reducing carbon emissions.
They are, and they're not because people don't realize what we exhale, that carbon is what the trees and the plants and the grass breathe. And then they exhale oxygen from that. Do you know anybody that breathes oxygen? So it's pretty funny how they can take something so simple and twist it into a lie, and everybody just believes it.
Yeah, yeah. You got people thinking it's a good thing now that you'll be banned from driving cars or leaving the city you're born in because you're saving the planet.
Oh, yeah, I know you're saving the planet, my ass. No, you're just enslaving yourselves all the further, is all you're doing.
Exactly. I mean, they'll still be traveling. They'll be having their planes. You can you can bet on that.
Oh, yeah, exactly. They'll be traveling, they'll have their planes, they'll have the good food, they'll have everything for themselves, and you worthless nothings will have just exactly that nothing because you're a worthless nothing. And the only
Hmm.
reason you're a worthless nothing is because you be what? You fell for the lies and won't stand up to your real enemy?
You bought a girl's bathwater.
Yeah, they'll buy girls' bathwater.
That's what
Yeah,
makes them
that's
work.
a smart thing to do, man. I'm gonna buy some girl's bathwater, man. She was good looking, I don't care if she washed up the crack of her, what, and washed this in that water, and you know, I don't care what kind of pollutants might be in that water from her bath. I want it, yeah, man. I might even drink it, man.
Oh man, I got to stick my dick in a hole, man.
Oh yeah, I might even put my dick in there if I could fit it in there, man. This is
Oh
the
man.
fucking mentality. You know how sick that is?
Yeah, but somehow, as I say, the people who fought in world wars couldn't overthrow the elite, but these fuckers buying these bathwaters, they're gonna do it, man. These guys are gonna do it. The elites are scared of these guys. They weren't scared of the guys fighting the world wars, but they're scared of these guys.
I know. Uh, Somehow they're just scared of these guys that bought bathwater. Oh no, the elite's underneath now, man. We're winning. Yeah, huh? You're still having that American dream, ain't you? Wake
I, I
up.
don't I don't understand how SBO can say that he thinks the elite have lost control. He says that in like his comment. I think Bill's wrong. The elites have lost control. They used to have control in the past, but now it's all going out of their control, and society's it's out of control. How's it out of control? The guys buying the bathwater are making society out of control. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, maybe that's what he means. And when he's buying that bathwater, it just makes society completely out of control, right?
Oh yeah, them guys are real dangerous. They're going to be threats to society. I'm scared of them.
Well, yeah, see, but most likely that bathwater was fake. Yes, I did say it was fake. But that's not the point. They sold it as bathwater, and people literally bought it as bathwater when it was fucking not even, most likely. And if it was, you know how disgusting that would be. And if you can't see that
Oh,
behavior's from an idiot, from a complete dumbass, if you aren't able to see that, man, I feel sorry for you.
I got to stick my hand in the same water that she had her pussy in. It's almost like I'm touching your pussy, bro.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. I got as close as putting my hand in her dirty bathwater, man. It was like getting to touch her pussy.
Well, that makes me an alpha or something. I'm
Oh
pleasing the
yeah, there
woman.
you go. Yep, you're an alpha now, man.
Man, I'm providing for the woman. I'm protecting her first class slave status.
Right? I'm helping her head swell up and her ego inflate. Man, I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah,
be underneath her pretty soon. She'll be wiping her feet off on my face, and I'll
because
enjoy it. Yeah.
I'm a man. I'm an ATM machine. Drill the holes in my feet.
Exactly. Well, biology and in your DNA, gender roles are there, man. Yep. We know that. So there we go. Let's drill a hose in your feet and mount you to the floor at the convenience store. What are you doing that for? Well, you know that gender roles are is part of biology, so therefore you must be bolted to the floor. Where would you like me to put the money? Up your ass or down your throat? You want me to
Oh yeah,
swipe the card on the back of your ear or what?
and love and care don't exist either because according to natural selection, it's a selfish gene theory. We just use other people. Everything's based on usury, and this is normal. If you've got care or you think that love exists, you're an idiot, man.
Oh, yeah, you're
There's
weak. You're weak and you're
no
an
weak.
idiot. Even though I've actually had a long term relationship and fallen in love, okay,
Yeah.
and had real love happen in my life,
Hmm.
these guys are too stupid to understand it's real. They're pushing all this lies. They're pushing all
Exactly.
this nonsense.
You've had a bit of romance. These guys have never had none of that, so they don't think it exists.
Well, it don't exist because you don't know what you're doing. But you don't want to believe that I'm telling you the truth. You want to believe the lie that's been fed to you. Then OSBL saying, well, I don't believe in long-term relationship and short relationship. Oh, so you believe in usury. I understand. That's
Well,
what you believe in. You
yeah,
believe in usury, which is the elite's agenda.
yeah, yeah. Are you talking about you said that on the live stream last week or this week?
Yeah, and then
Um, la-
that's why I said that, because he did. He actually said that.
yeah. And as well, another thing, in the past, the elite used to do all of their population reductions, for the whole TFL thing. They used to do all their population reductions from the world wars. But then the thing is, with the world wars is it actually wasn't beneficial for population reduction because it united the genders. The woman looked up to the men as protectors and fantasized and thought how good they were for laying down their lives to protect them. So the woman really became enamored with the men. The woman really liked the men that way and fantasized about the men so that whenever the men came back, you had a baby boom and you had a lot of babies being born because everybody was getting together because the woman has such a high opinion of the men. But nowadays, they actually realize that if you target the women and not the men, you can actually get your population reduction done a lot more efficiently through the means of feminism and
You
things
know,
like
the
that. And of course,
feminism and then like Lifetime channel, male shaming in the media, putting the
yeah,
man down regularly. Yeah,
it's just the best form of population reduction. Yeah, as you say, putting the man down regularly, making him dangerous, making him a threat, a rapist, or whatever. Every vile thing in the book. It's vile hatred for men every single day in the media.
it is. 30 years plus of vile hatred in the media leads to the behavior we have going on.
Yeah, I mean, in Germany, basically Hitler used to make movies. He would make movies making the Jews out to be pedophiles and rapists. He'd make Jews out to be villains. He'd make movies making fun of people beating up Jews. He'd put this in the movies. He'd really make a lot of movies and books about Jews being pedophiles. Jews being villains, and it was funny to beat up the Jews. But isn't that what happens in the West today? It's fun to beat up men. Men are always the villains.
Yes.
It's men are the pedophiles and rapists. It's fun to beat up
Oh,
men.
yes. And women are loving and smart and beautiful and cherishing and nourishing. And oh, what a hogwash bullshit that is.
It's really like Bill. It's really like men have become. I mean, it's like if Hitler was attacking men, that's what it's kind of like today. The, the Western government's like Hitler, and it's like instead of Jews on the agenda, it's men.
You
They're going
know,
after.
it's pure stupidity. I wish that we could change it, but I guess my
Yeah.
dream will stay true. I will hope that in 2019 we can see Hell by the Dashboard Light come back to reality and come over here and join the show and talk some good talk that he used to talk. I don't know that he can do that because he has to put aside his anger and his emotions. And he
Hmm.
has to be willing to look deep, deep enough to see. Okay,
Yeah.
because once you start looking deep and see, then once you
Hmm.
see it, you
Yeah.
won't never go back the other direction because you'll be physically seeing it. And I'm
Yeah.
physically seeing it myself. And
And
so
so
is
am
it.
I.
Yep, exactly. And so is he.
I
He
mean,
sees it himself, and that's why he's 22 now and so intelligent on this stuff because he did not turn his head and look the other way or just go along with somebody told him. He's looked for himself and he sees it himself.
so, right. Sorry, Bill. Yeah, I got interrupted there, but yeah, I mean, the dashboard, particularly him, like gives all these good accounts of history, but it's always like the official story of history. He's like talking about all this stuff like the Koreans were invaded because of capitalism or communism or all this stuff. Always the official account. The guy doesn't really connect the dots and see that he's being lied to in history. And the
I
actual
know, I
the
know.
real story. Behind it. I
Well,
mean, everyone
yeah.
says he's intelligent, but I'm not even sure he is. He's just remembering a lot of stuff, and he's not really thinking outside the box. Yeah.
No, actually, you're correct about that. One of my commenters just said that Alex Dashboard is lost, Bill. Forget about it. Okay? I don't forget about it because I have care. I don't forget about it because I've watched Alex's earlier videos when he was driving around. Alex was actually doing a good job. Alex actually had his shit together then. And then he slowly, for whatever reason, started drifting off track. Okay? And since then, it's like he's a train that's been derailed. And that's all covering emotions and anger. It's not easy living the life of TFLer lives. It's
No,
not easy at all, man. It's a very hard life.
it is. It is. I mean, nothing easy about it.
No, there isn't. This is why, see, for me, it's trying to help people, wake people up to the real truth. Let them go look for themselves. I gave people a couple good examples today. If they would just go dig into the Fabians and Darwin and track them back, they'll find out they're linked right to the elites. And they'll find out it was all a lie and that they've been programmed to this lie. And once they realize that, because once you get around enough women, you start seeing reality. They are programmed just like we are.
Yeah.
Okay? And once you start seeing through the programming, you can come back to reality.
Yeah. Also realize that men care about watches and shoes as well, not just women. Realize that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This worshiping in the women is what's caused the women's behavior to become so toxic.
Exactly. I mean, they do care about sex, the women. It's
Well, there's
obvious.
no reason. I agree with our commenter. He says there's no reason for him to be racist. I haven't heard him spill racist cause against any race, but if I do hear him, because I stopped watching him when he started losing his mind. Okay? So after he started losing his mind and spilling BS, I stopped watching him. Okay? Now, if he has said that stuff, he's no better than Big Boss Calvin. He's right there with the elite. He's going along with the elite agenda. He's doing things that the elite want you to do. And that type of stuff people can only change once they can see the truth. Then they have to want to change it because that means self reflection. It means working on yourself. So go
Yeah.
ahead. Go ahead. If you got something to say there, gonna go about another 10 minutes or so, and then I'll cut the live stream off because I think 2 hours is good enough. What do you think?
Yeah, I think 2 hours is, more than enough. I mean, we
Oh
can always
yeah.
come back up here later on and do another live stream if, we come up with some new ideas or something to talk about.
Yes.
And,
Eh,
I guess it makes it more easier for people to watch as well if you do it in smaller segments, doesn't it?
yes, exactly. Now the reason you're not seeing other people come into the live stream is because I changed the settings. Okay. And I've already talked to Mr. Hoka. I love the hell out of Steve. He's a good guy. People really knew he was. But the thing is I changed the settings because HJ and I we wanted to do a live stream together with just the two of us for a while. And we tried it a couple of times before, and we laughed at each other because we got hijacked. So I
Mhm.
fixed it today so that we would be the only two here. That's why you're not hearing anybody else. And the message I wanted sent today has been sent. And I just hope that men can relate to it because the truth is what we said. We're not up here lying to anybody. I do actually care about you, but when you tell me that a woman's sex drive is not as high as a man's, it's a complete propaganda. It's a lie. And you haven't looked far enough back to understand that. You haven't been around real women enough in your life to actually see that their sex drive is every bit as high as a man's. When you've been around enough
Yeah,
women, you will see that.
you just got to ask yourself this: why do devoted religious women want to get married off so early? And the answer is because devoted religious women can't have sex until after marriage, so they want to get married very early so that they can experience sex. That's the answer.
Yep, that is right. That would be correct. And then you got a lot of women who don't care about that. Like he said earlier, by 25, the woman, average woman's already got 50 dicks in her own.
Oh yeah, if they're not religious, yeah, that's definitely likely.
Yes. Well, that's because they don't like sex. Their sex drive is lower.
Yeah. Oh, even that woman who cheated on her boyfriend I was telling you about, like 20 or something times, and then when we got out of fucking prison, he broke her ribs.
Oh yeah, or like it's so in your face. That's what's pathetic about it. People don't think. If they would just think and look, they would see it's in their face. If you'd be around women enough to know women, you'd realize that their sex drive is just as high. You'd realize that a whole lot of women own dildos or vibrators.
Yeah, I've had women telling me about how they've been eating ass, or asking me, "Do you know what ass tastes like?" Or something, some joke about that. And I'm like, what the fuck? And they're like, "Oh, I shouldn't have said that," getting embarrassed about it. I'm calling them out for eating ass.
Yeah, and what they really done was told you a little bit about themselves without realizing they was.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's some real nasty stuff, but
Oh, that's correct. Somebody's wrote up here that the book burning was real. Okay, yeah. Well, that's the guy that's asleep. He was trying to give you stuff that he knows is real to convince you that he's awake, but he's actually
mm,
not awake. He's already proven that. And if he is awake, then he's deliberately pushing the narrative of the elite. And why would somebody who's awake do that?
mm.
They're either completely stupid or you're an employee of the establishment. And on this person's side, I would say it was just for being completely stupid and being here for all the
Oh,
wrong reasons.
oh yeah. He thinks Adolf Hitler was able to fix Germany's economy by himself, not realizing that he got a lot of loans from America because nobody can fix a destroyed economy by themselves just from their own intelligence. That requires outside money from foreign countries to do that, people.
Well, that's just it. When that war was going on, the elite were financing both sides of that war the entire time. When the United
Yeah.
States got involved, the elite was paying for, so, like they don't understand, okay, the Federal Reserve in the United States is owned by and run by the Rothschild dynasty.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's not a lie, that's fact.
Right. Yeah.
Okay,
And
they've
yeah.
always financed both sides of the war. The war is about crashing and stealing resources and getting more control. That's what all wars have
Exactly.
been. They start them, and that's what it's about. It's about killing and stealing the resources.
And the Ford family as well. They, supplied Germany with a lot of the rubber for the German military vehicles.
Yes.
And then at the same time, the Americans were sending out U.S. troops to fight the Germans, even though the rich Americans were actually giving the Germans the equipment to start the war. You
Yes.
know, I mean, same for UK too, obviously, but
Well,
uh,
they think it's an accident that TFL just happens to be all over the world. And they're living the same lives I am here in America, over in Australia, over United Kingdom, over in Russia, over in Ukraine. Oh yeah, I've talked to TFLers in them places.
mhm.
So see, it's literally all over the world. You think it just
Yeah.
accidentally went viral and became all over the world, and we got men from all walks of life, all over the world saying the same thing, and somehow all of us are wrong, huh?
Oh yes. Somehow the birth rate's like fallen dramatically. If you look at the birth rate in the last 50 years,
It has.
I mean, that tell you. You know.
It tells you what we've been talking about is really going on, but oh, we got to be in denial, man. Turn our head and look the other way, man. I don't want to be caught a nut. I'm so afraid of what somebody might think of me.
Yeah, yeah, the birth rate, the divorce rate. I mean, if you look at these objective statistics, assuming they're not manipulated, and they might be manipulated, but if they're not manipulated, then it
Yeah,
basically supports TFL entirely.
that's exactly it, man. And I see a few people that's been around a while, like Angel was in the chat earlier, and I was happy to see Angel here. For anybody that was back around the TFL radio show times, they will know who Angel is. Okay, and then the electronic man, he's still here with us, and he's from back in that era too. We do have people that's been around that's actually looked into things like Dave.
Yeah,
Dave's been here since the beginning, okay? And he's looked into a lot of stuff. Dave's a very intelligent man. Dave's awake to what's going on and sees it with his own eyes. And he got to
yeah.
be in the public view driving that bus to all them years.
I I remember, like, whenever I was telling you about Wigtow, you were telling me about Dave spotting a lot of Wigtow as well. At the
Yes.
same time, that backed up, what I was thinking. So Dave's, very awake. He
Yeah.
sees a lot of it.
Just like you
Yeah,
do. That's why I told you stay on the road you're on because you're on the right road. Don't let the naysayers steer you a different direction because they're going to try.
yeah. I mean, I guess maybe that's sort of Espo's problem. Like, he's maybe awake a few times and he keeps trying to go back to sleep because being awake is too uncomfortable for him.
Yeah. Already becomes a very dangerous troll.
I think part of the reason he comes on the show so much and argues with people is because he doesn't want you to be correct. He doesn't like your message, and he wants to make it out like you're wrong and you're
Well,
crazy. Just so better.
before he started leaving his camera off, I seen enough of his facial expressions and stuff that was going on, and I'm pretty
Yeah,
damn good with body language. He was actually laughing at us. He was not serious about any of it. His
yeah.
facial
He was
expressions,
smiling a lot.
his body language actually told on him. And then he
Yeah, he was.
stopped showing his face because I guess he was afraid that we might pick up on it. Well, he was too late
Well,
because I'd already picked up on it.
he was either being, very nervous and friendly towards us, or trying to, I don't know, be really friendly towards us, or it's just as you say. But there definitely was something a bit off about it.
Yeah. Did you see that? He wrote the TFL can't find love. Migto got married and get divorced. Raped. LOL. He's laughing. See, it's all a joke to him. But
Who wrote
see,
that?
I've actually had real love. I sure
Yeah.
did. Real love. I actually had a long term relationship and found real love that actually exists, which puts everything that come out of his mouth to shame. The real reason he can't find love is because he don't know what the fuck he's doing.
Mm. Well, if you're getting divorce raped, you haven't really found love, have
No,
you?
he just don't know what the hell he's doing. And almost everybody nowadays has no idea what they're doing. I didn't say everybody because nothing's 100% across the board. I'll guarantee you there's still good women out here. And I know
I
there
mean,
is.
How about the Bon Jovi song, "Shot in the Heart and You're to Blame. You give love a bad name." That's basically what MGTOW was about. You give
Yeah,
love a bad
but the
because it's
real,
not.
yeah, but it's sad because the real truth is people just don't know what they're doing. Everything is upside down on its head. I've said this so many times to people, and it is no lie. It's actually factual truth. But hey,
Mhm.
go ahead and say your last things you would like to get in before we cut it, because we're almost at 2 hours right now.
Okay, Bill. Well, thanks very much for having me on. I've enjoyed the stream. I think we've said a lot of stuff. I mean, I haven't said everything, obviously, but maybe I'll save the other stuff for a different stream. But thanks for having me on, and thanks everyone
Oh
for watching.
yes, and hey, I appreciate you being here, and I was happy to do this, and it was good to finally get this out. Okay, so with that being said, guys, you all have a good New Year's. Okay, and hopefully this new year we can make a difference and give more support to more guys, and maybe we can get more men to see what's going on and men to start standing together because that's what needs to happen. And with that being said, guys, I'm out of here and thank you.